My service journey here at Bellarmine has been quite unique. At my middle school, we were rarely ever told to do community service, much less get out of our comfort zone to do it or learn a lesson while doing it. Here at Bellarmine, I've done all of that and much more, all the way from simply having to do service with children and the elderly to actually traveling 900 miles to a desert to help those in need. My service career at Bellarmine started in freshman year. Working with children was going to be easy, I said to myself. I just wanted to get my hours done before first semester ended. I did some tutoring at an after-school program at my church, about twice a week for an hour. I did that for a few weeks. I usually helped a couple of third or second graders with math and grammar homework. I also visited my elementary school a couple times to help out around the classroom and partake in a few activities and games with kindergartners and first graders. But I forced my service experience in freshman year to be fairly uneventful and ordinary, nothing special to learn or take away from it. However, when sophomore year rolled in, there was a new service objective, helping the elderly or physically or mentally challenged. Again, I set off doing my hours quickly to get rid of that 15-hour requirement. I started off the year going to Atria Willow Glen, a community built inside another neighborhood, which was specifically built for elderly people with no family to take care of them. There, they had nurses and cooks to look after them. 24-hour aides walking down the hallways of their apartment buildings. At that place, I delivered packages and set up posters around the community. I also played board games with the residents, celebrated a couple birthday parties, and helped out with broken technology or just simply taught the residents how to use their laptops or tablets. That's when my mindset about service started shifting. Now it was about helping and understanding these people that were forced to the margins of society. Later in the year, I started visiting a center called IPSTP. This center was for adults with mental development issues. There, we played lots of board games, played basketball, or simply just watched YouTube videos of different kinds of trainings. I also visited another center for mentally challenged individuals called Hope Services. I started to understand how these people didn't let their disabilities be an obstacle for everyday activities we usually take for granted. I started to understand what service was all about. Finally, my Bellarmine service journey recently culminated on an immersion service trip I took to Nogales, Arizona, and Nogales, Sonora in Mexico. I really recommend taking this trip, by the way. A group of 8 guys from Bellarmine paired up with a group of girls from Presentation, and we visited an organization by the name of Kino Border Initiative, led by Jesuit father Pete Neely. The trip was eye-opening and heart-touching. We learned from the harsh conditions the immigrants face when crossing the border, the feelings of fear and anxiety they get when they are found or deported from the town they were living in. We made them feel at home and listened to their heartwarming stories as we served them food and washed their dishes. We also visited a shelter for deported women who made and sold bracelets and necklaces by hand. My bracelet here is from that shelter. After that, we simulated a walk through the desert to see what the immigrants went through in their travels. On the final day, we visited a community center in downtown Nogales on the Mexican side of the border. At the community center, which is called HEPAC, the people there educated and protected the children of the town, who are harshly affected by poverty, crime, and tensions at the border. While the kids were at school, our group painted the whole playground for them and also planted a small garden. In the evening, they threw a small party for us with food and a piñata. That trip was what truly turned my whole service path around. Now, it's all about being a man for and with others.